Hello human beings, we are going to talk about the thyroarytenoid muscle and the cricothyroid muscle. And then we're going to talk about how and what can you do to work these muscles, which is not going to be very useful, but we'll see. We'll do what we can do. Okay, remember in anatomy, the way that things are named usually is the point of origin is the beginning of the name. The point of insertion is the end of the name. So when we're talking about a muscle, where does it start? Where does it end? Point of origin, point of insertion. So when we talk thyroarytenoid, it starts in the thyroid cartilage, ends in the arytenoid cartilage. Thyroarytenoid. When we talk about the cricothyroid, starts in the cricoid cartilage, ends in the thyroid cartilage. All right, if this is your larynx, that is your Adam's apple. You're in profile. You're facing this way. Front of the face is hair, back of the face is hair. Yay! And we cut you in half, as one does in life. Random pen. Woo! Somewhere behind your thyroid cartilage. So, Adam's apple. Again, a reminder. All males and females have a thyroid cartilage, which means all males and females have an Adam's apple. Somewhere behind your thyroid cartilage will be your vocal folds. On this model, it is the blue line that's very faded. The red line above is the false vocal folds. Ignore that. Sorry, for now. So, at the back of this model, here, you cannot see it on this model, unfortunately, but right here would be your arytenoid cartilages. You can Google them, you can look at them. The arytenoid cartilages on this model are covered by the muscle that is wrapped around them, so you just see a blob of red. Either way, thyroid cartilage, arytenoids, thyroarytenoid. So your thyroarytenoid muscle starts from your thyroid cartilage, your Adam's apple, and it goes into your arytenoid cartilages. And your thyroarytenoid muscle is the muscle that is inside your true vocal folds. So when we talk about the vocal folds and we talk about strengthening the vocal folds and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff, well, the only muscle that's there is the thyroarytenoid muscle. So we're probably talking about the thyroarytenoid muscle. On this model, your thyroid cartilage is this blue thing. Woo! And your cricoid cartilage is this little thing over here. Unfortunately, you can't see the side of it perfectly because your thyroid gland is in the way. But you can Google it. We're going to remove thyroid so that we can see. Yay! So we're talking about a muscle that runs from the cricoid cartilage into the thyroid cartilage, the cricothyroid muscle. As you can see here, there's nothing there, but on this side, look at that red little muscle. Isn't it cute? That's your cricothyroid. Yay. Let's talk about what these muscles do functionally. Okay. Your cricothyroid muscle, if you're looking at this and you're thinking, I'm sorry, my cricothyroid muscle is outside of the inside of the larynx. It's not in my vocal folds. That is correct. Yes, it is on the outside, let's say. It's not on your neck. It's still a laryngeal muscle, but it's not inside the vocal folds. The cricothyroid muscle is going to contract because remember, muscles can either contract or be passive and do nothing. So when it contracts, it's going to squidge down, it's going to shorten, and that shortening is going to pull on the thyroid cartilage, so the distance between the thyroid cartilage and the cricoid cartilage is going to shorten. They're going to come closer together. In some schools and some thoughts of singing, they will refer to this as tilting or even rocking. If you're mega nerds and you're like, but tilting and rocking are not the same thing. Yeah, that is correct, but sometimes they are. So it can get confusing. And I mean in the literature, how it's spoken about. So let's just say, if you've heard of rocking, it might have been this. If you've heard of tilting, it might have been referring to this. It shortens the distance between the thyroid cartilage and the cricoid cartilage. In some human beings, they can feel the thyroid cartilage come a little bit down and forward. Other human beings cannot feel it. And I mean when touching the neck. So, meh. You know, if you can feel it, yay. That's probably it. If you can't feel it, doesn't matter. So this shortens, and the shortening of the distance between these two things passively lengthens the vocal folds. Yay. This is not the best, because I'm wearing black, sorry. But if I have this hairband, ideally I would have had a rubber band, but whatever. If I have this hairband, and this is the thyroid cartilage, and this is where the arytenoids are at the back of the vocal folds, what's going to happen is the thyroid cartilage is going to be squidged down towards the cricoid. Do you see how that is longer than this? Ah, beautiful. Yay! That. Fun. One caveat and one complication, very often when people feel the thyroid cartilage and they're like, oh my god, it moved down, wow, they have lowered the larynx. That's an independent movement. You can lower the larynx and lengthen or shorten. You can lift the larynx and lengthen and shorten. Like, it doesn't matter where the larynx is. And we will anatomically be way more prone to feeling the position and height of the larynx rather than this. Because in the grand scheme of things, if we're talking woo, woo in terms of height, and then we're talking this in terms of pitching, very small. Cricothyroid passively lengthens the vocal folds. That is what it does. The thyroarytenoid muscle has two primary jobs. The first thing that the thyroarytenoid muscle does is the exact opposite. It bulks. And remember, we said thyroarytenoid, from thyroid cartilage to the arytenoid cartilage. And when a muscle contracts, what's going to happen? It's going to shorten. So it's going to, for lack of a better way to phrase it, shorten the vocal fold. And when we shorten the vocal fold, the pitch goes down. Yay. Another thing that it can do, though, is the thyroarytenoid muscle can just bulk. Again, think, as annoying as it is, you can engage your bicep by simply shortening, namely pulling your hand and your forearm to your bicep, or you could just flex it. So the thyroarytenoid muscle is capable of flexing, and that is the move that is most likely to help you remain in chest voice. Yay! Or M1 if you're a nerd. What do I do? How can I explore these muscles, etc.? Well, the first thing that we want to do is we want to go with the muscle and help the muscle. So if we're talking about thyroarytenoid, you are simply going to go down in pitch. You're just going to go, You're not going to go into fry, and you're not going to get breathy and loose. Just a robust sound. And at the same time, just in your brain, think, this is what it feels like when the thyroarytenoid muscle engages. Yay! For your cricothyroid muscle, you're going to do the opposite. So you're going to go up. For now, let's say in falsetto. Whatever. Like whatever pitch. It doesn't matter what pitch. And now your brain is going to think, oh, that's using the cricothyroid muscle. Fun. So that's the first thing. Second thing that you're going to do, you're going to stay on a pitch, sustain it in your speaking voice. So you're going to be in chest voice. Yay, thyroarytenoid. And you're going to do the same in your falsetto or head voice. With any sound, you can also be going. It doesn't matter what quality. You're probably mostly using the cricothyroid muscle. Yay! And now the nerdiness. So how do we challenge these muscles? Easier said than done. But you're going to do the reverse movement. So for your cricothyroid, you are going to take that lovely cricothyroid and you're going to start at a high pitch and you are going to go down in pitch. And you're going to stay in your head voice until infinity. So you're going to go, etc. Remember, don't get loud, don't beef it up, and try to stay in head voice. And if you have a really robust section where you're like, and you're just flipping into chest voice, work that area really slowly. Your goal is like if you manage to get a semitone lower, you're amazing, good job. That. For your thyroarytenoid, just to be weird and nerdy, we are trying to separate the function of the contraction that lowers the pitch versus the flexing. If you're mega nerdy, the muscle fibers that contract in order to lower the pitch are often referred to as the muscularis muscle fibers of the thyroarytenoid, and the fibers that contract in order to just flex and keep you in chest voice are the vocalis fibers of the thyroarytenoid muscle. So, what do we want to do? We want to go up and stay in chest voice, which means we want to separate the behavior of muscularis and vocalis. It is easier to do this whilst going up in pitch, even though inherently this is difficult in chest voice, rather than doing weird moves on a lower pitch, because we don't necessarily have a way to guarantee that you are actually isolating those muscle fibers, to the best of my knowledge. But if you're a mega nerd and you know anything about that, let me know. I have ideas and thoughts, but So, you're gonna take your chest voice and you're gonna go up until you can't anymore. And then you're gonna break. And then you're gonna lurk around that breaky point. Let's say that happens. You take that and you just try and poke to the semitone above without popping into falsetto. And now you're working your thyroarytenoid muscle. Yay! Common misconceptions. I don't have a falsetto register. You have a falsetto register. It might just be very, 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 very difficult to access and unlock it and find it. If you cannot access your falsetto register, we're not looking at damage to the CT. It doesn't relate to the cricothyroid muscle. There are people that struggle to access their falsetto register, but can take their chest voice quite high. If you're going up in pitch, the cricothyroid muscle is involved. If you're going down in pitch, the thyroarytenoid muscle is involved. Neither of these muscles equal a register. It's just a percentage game. So you don't need to worry about this muscle. On the flip side of that, thyroarytenoid muscle. So let's say, well, what do I do? How do I strengthen it? Blah, 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 blah. You don't. So on the one hand, it's not necessarily very useful to work the thyroarytenoid muscle or work the cricothyroid specifically, but as a singer, are you going to be moving the pitch around constantly, and are you going to be shifting and experimenting with different voice qualities? Yes, definitely. So you're definitely going to be working out both of these muscles, but I would argue there's no reason to target them too specifically. If you have any questions, outrage, existential crises, put it all in the comments below, and I will see you when I see you next. That is all for now. Bye!